Welcome back to another episode of Be Sure to Cook. Today we're going to be making a Moscato chicken in a white cream sauce with vegetables, and we're going to be making a rosemary infused rice. So stay tuned and let's do this. Okay, today I'm going to be using chicken thighs. These are really good chicken thighs. These thighs are free range, no, hormones, no nothing. I like this better. If you can't find that, you can use any chicken thighs you want. For these are pretty big, so I think I'm going to use about 4 to 5 thighs. I'm going to have to clean these up, take off a bunch of fat that we don't need, extra fat that we don't need, and we're going to clean these up. We're going to cook these. They're going to be so delicious. So let's clean these up and get these prepped and get them ready. Okay, since we've cleaned our chicken, now we need to season it, put it to the side, and let's do our vegetables. So what I'm going to be putting on it is some thyme, some paprika, my famous Mrs. Dash blend. They have so many different seasons in that. That's why I use that a lot. Since I'm making a rosemary infused rice, I'm going to use a tiny bit of rosemary on our chicken, and we're going to use wonderful garlic powder and black pepper. Okay, so let's go ahead and start seasoning our chicken. Okay, then I got the garlic powder. I'm just using a little bit because I'm actually going to be using fresh garlic to go in here. So I'm just sprinkling on just a little tiny bit, because to me, I think whole garlic is very strong. Powdered garlic is not that strong. It depends on what type of, it's still got water on this chicken, but that's okay because these are going to set. All right, so I'm going to do some Mrs. Dash, and I just want to do a little bit because I'm just trying to take this and actually season these chickens good. Okay, I'm gonna flip these over on both sides. I'm doing all sides. Put your on if you like, and it'll be yours. So just do your own seasons if you don't like the seasons that I'm using. If you just like salt and pepper, just try it with salt and pepper. It depends, because a lot of people got taste that is very strong. So see this thyme here, I'm just going to sprinkle on a little thyme. You're barely going to see it on both sides because thyme is strong. So I'm just sprinkling on a little. And I said sprinkle like a pinch of thyme on each chicken, front and back, because these are going to get fried. All right. Next thing is just a tiny bit of rosemary. Okay, just a tiny bit. Sprinkle it on, maybe 1 or 2, a pinch of each, because this is going to be in I'm having rice that has rosemary in it. So it's going to be infused rosemary. So I don't want a lot of rosemary because it's going to be on the chicken. See, just a touch. Okay, these babies are going to sit, and they're going to marinate in all that flavor that I put in there. And now let's do our vegetables. Okay, I rinsed off my vegetables. It just felt like they were just even double nastier. But I'm not going to be using this anyway, so I'm going to be cutting off the skins of these. And we have a zucchini I'm cutting up. And I'm cutting off the skins of this anyway. But still, the skin of it felt so nasty to me that I rinsed it, and I'm going to be rinsing it again. I mean, washing it to death. So I'm just going to peel the skin from the zucchini, getting all that together, and we're going to cut these up. So I'm going to do zucchini on one, and then the other I'm going to be doing squash. So these are some of the vegetables that we're going to be putting into this chicken dish that we're making, and I'm doing a small baby one. I'm trying to get all the little green off here and cutting this up. And I'm going to cut the ends off. So let me peel this up and we'll be cutting the rest. Okay, so I did my zucchini. And now I'm doing my squash. Now, for people who like the skin on, okay, just rinse it and keep the skin on. I feel like sometimes the skin can be a little tough, so I don't want the skin. I know the skin is more nutritious and has a lot of vitamins in it, which is good, but you know, both of them do without it. But the skin, to me, with this dish, might be a little tough to me. So, but if you like it, you keep your skin on. Great. You know, it's perfect. So it doesn't really make a difference how you want it. So I'm going to cut the ends off both of these. So I got my regular famous knife, and I'm just going to cut both of the front ends off, and I'm going to discard those with the skin. And I'm also going to do the backs too, and I'm going to discard all of this. And I'm just going to cut these up. You can cut them any way you want in your dish. I'm thinking about just cutting, you know, chunks. So I cut it in half, and I want these a little thick because when this starts to cook, it starts to get, you know, they start to, you know, melt down and get real thin. So what I'm going to do is just cut this in half, like so, both of them. And I'm just going to cut these in big chunks because I want these to cook, and I want to have a big chunks. Why I'm saying big chunks, because when they cook, it gets watery and they get real thin, and you might get none. You might turn into juice. So that's why I'm cutting them thick. The thicker you cut them, the more meatier and stuff you get, to me. I hope I sound great doing it. So I'm going to mix these guys. Okay, let's get our other vegetables. All right, next that I have some portobello mushrooms. Oh, I like mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Portobello are good. They meaty. They're like, great meat. So this will go great in this dish. So I'm going to get a couple of these. I am going to cut the ends, and I am going to rinse. I know a lot of people tell you all, oh, don't, you know, don't put them in water. Don't rinse them. They taste this enough. Okay, I don't like dirt, me personally. But if you do, that's fine. You can just take a damp rag, try to get as much as dirt as you want off of them, you know, without trying to bruise them. But me, honey, I'm going to cap these like this, like so. And I am going to wash my vegetables because they come from the dirt. Look at all that dirt. Look at all that. And that's what when you're wiping that off, you're still putting that in your food. I don't know who ever told somebody that. And if they do, it's because, you know, you're bruising them when you do it. I know a way that you can do them and they won't change. I showed someone on another show that I done with mushrooms, and I showed you how to wash them, and they stayed just the way they were. So you can still eat clean if you want, or you can have your vegetables any way you want. It is your choice. But in my house, we're washing. So let's do these, and let's wash these up. Okay, the only thing we have to do, we're going to wash up. We don't have to do much with these. We just rinse because these have already been, you know, shaved off. That's what I love about these. And these are petite carrots, so you need to get the petite. I call them petite, but they penny carrots, pinty carrots, but they like the petite kind. You got the fat ones, they got the gray big ones. You know, just get the smaller baby carrots. All right, I have a shallot here that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to cut off the edge of this shallot. And I'm going to use a little bit of shallots because shallots is strong. Oh my God. I mean, I think they're just like super, super strong, which they are. And I'm going to be peeling this shallot, and I'm going to be rinsing this bulb off really, really good. So, and then we're going to cut these up, dice these up really, really good. So let's rinse this shallot and let's get it cut up. And I'm going to be also doing some garlic. So let me peel some garlic, and I can rinse them both together. So I'm doing that fresh garlic that I told you about, guys. So these are the bulbs, if they call bulbs. So here they are, and I'm taking them off the little thing, so, you know, off the paper. So I'm just going to chop all this up. This is a big one here, yeah. That gives me a great one. I'm going to get rid of all the paper and stuff on here, or the wrap that comes around it. Okay, so now I started on my garlic. And when you do that, you get like the skin, but that's okay because I don't need it. All I want is the garlic until I can get it off. Now watch your fingers when you're doing this with a grater or a grasp or, you know, whatever you want to call yours. But everybody calls it differently. And see that? All that garlic and all that garlic there? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using. I like mine minced so you don't see it and it just like dissolves into your chicken, dissolves into your beef and whatever you're fixing with garlic. It dissolves. It's like a, what you call it? It's like paste. Like, you know, I don't see it, but it's there. You know, I love that. Okay, I have a bowl with my strainer, and I have a different kind of strainer. I have a strainer that, you know, I can get all the stuff out of there without it falling through the strainer, so I had to get a fine strainer. And I've got some jasmine rice here, and I don't want that sticky consistency, so I'm going to do about 2 cups of rice. So that is 2 cups of rice that I'm going to pour into this strainer and a bowl up underneath it. So I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to rinse this because I don't want no starch in it. So let's do it. Okay, now I'm going to use about a ½ teaspoon of olive oil into my pan. And the pan has been on low and it's getting hot and it's shimmering. So I'm going to wait for this to shimmer. So I only want a little because I don't want a lot. ½ teaspoon of olive oil. So yeah, get you some olive oil. Oops. Okay, I'm just going to use a tiny bit of garlic. So this is like, you know, a little bit. And I'm going to put that garlic that we had. And that's for the other chicken. And I'm just going to stir this around. Just a little garlic. Not a lot. Just a little. Just to infuse that. Okay. Then I'm adding a ½ teaspoon of rosemary seeds. And I'm going to put it in there with that garlic. And I'm going to fry that up. That rosemary seeds. And that's about a ½ teaspoon of that. Because I want this to toast and roast. Because we are making. And then you know that rice that we have. When it's toasting and roasting. I'm going to add all that hard rice that we had in there. Get that going. I'm going to infuse all that rice with all of that. We're just going to cook that rice and flip it around with those rosemary seeds and just that little bit of garlic. And we want to make sure we infuse this really good. And we're just going to fry this up a little bit. Now the rice is still raw, and we're going to add some different seasonings to it. So we want that to give that a good old cook for about a couple minutes with that. So you want about two or three seconds, or give it about a good minute to cook. You just want that rice to cook, and you want that rosemary and that garlic really in there, and that smells really good, guys. Okay, then I've got some low sodium chicken broth, or you can get regular chicken broth. It's up to you. I'm going to do about a cup of chicken broth, and I want to cover my rice. So I'm using a cup of the chicken broth. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, this is a cup of my chicken broth, and we want this to cook into all of this. Oh, that looks so good. And guess what? We're going to be using, we're going to be using about a ½ cup of Moscato. Not a lot. You can use a ½ cup, or you can use 1/4 cup because it is kind of strong. So you can do half or 1/4. I choose 1/4 because this stuff is strong. 1/4 cup of Moscato. Oh, that's going to be so good. And we're going to cook this rice. So if you need more rice because you want it to be cooked good, so do about 2 cups of chicken broth. to 1/4 cup of Moscato. Okay, for that extra flavor, I'm using this is a roasted garlic base, and this is really good to use. It gives more depth, more flavor. I'm using about a 1/2 teaspoon of this. And I'm gonna just stir that up in my rice as it's cooking. And I'm gonna put a top on this baby, and I'm gonna let this just cook. And when I rinse that rice like that, it's because I'm not looking for any starch. I want to get all of it, so I'm greedy. I need to get it all. I don't want nothing in here. I want to make sure I got every bit of that teaspoon. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that is done. And I'm going to stir this up until that dissolves into my rosemary infused rice. Okay, these are our mushrooms that we had rinsed earlier. I'm just going to cut these in half. I don't want to bruise them, so I'm taking a knife and I'm just kind of like going down and making them half. I'm halving each one of them right in the middle. Okay, I'm cooking my rice, and it has soaked up all of that juice, which is good. And I kept putting, because I think, you know, it's a smaller pan, so I kept just adding the rest of my chicken broth in there and making sure it was cooked good. I'm going to turn this off, because if you turn this off and you put the top on it, it'll finish cooking. So it's been cooking for about 15 to 20 minutes, so it's like semi half done. I'm going to let this steam, and this is going to be perfect. Okay, today I decide, instead of working with the stove, I know I'm cooking the rice, I'm going to be cooking with my electric skillet. I've had this electric skillet for a long time. This is my first time I've ever used this since my husband bought it about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So I thought this would be neat, because got a paper towel just in case. I've washed this, rinsed this off really good, and I'm going to be cooking with it today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a teaspoon of olive oil, and I want this to shimmer. So which is very hot. And I've got this on about 350, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to 300 because I don't want to burn anything. Oh, okay, so here we go. We've got my chicken that has been marinated in my pan for a while. So what we're going to do first, I want to turn this down because it has been up there for a while, and this is very, very hot. The oil is hot, everything's hot. I don't want to burn anything. So I'm going to be putting some shallots that we had cooked, and I'm going to be putting some garlic in here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some garlic. And as you notice, since this is a non-stick pan, I am actually using, and then I'm going to start off with these wonderful shallots in here. Also with that, I cooked up that half a shallot, cut up that half a shallot. I'm talking about cooking them because I'm cooking. And I'm just going to put all of this in here together. Oh, look at that. And I want that all over the pan. I want that to kind of cook. There we go with that. Now, what I'm going to do next is, here's this marinated chicken. You remember that? We've had that in the refrigerator. I'm just going to start sticking these babies. Uh-oh, I'm going to have to turn this back up because I should have left it up a little bit. So we're going to turn this back up because I want to hear that sizzle from that chicken. We're going to start, and I'm putting skin side down because I want that skin to crisp up really nice. And this has been marinated for a long time, for about a couple hours since we had to do all that. And we don't have to, guess what? We don't have to do anything else. We do not have to marinate it because it's already been marinated. We did that earlier. And we're gonna let these cook. Okay, my chicken's been cooking, and I'm gonna flip these. Perfect. I want to see some color because this is going to cook all in this pan. And then now I'm going to add the toughest stuff. I'm going to add all these carrots in here because these have to be in here to cook. So I'm going to lay my carrots down, and these have to cook. And those are the hardest things to cook. These are the flavors. Okay, let's put the top back on this for a couple seconds. And let's brown that other side. Let's clean up the rest of our mess. My cameraman let me know that my audio wasn't on. So to repeat what I done, I went on ahead, took the chicken out, and it's sitting over here resting for just a couple minutes. And I put my zucchini and my squash in here. So now I'm going to be putting in my mushrooms, and we're going to go ahead and let them soak in some beautiful liquid. Okay, these are my mushrooms that we wash, rinse, and cut. And we're going to get all of these in here because all of these are going to be happy. Happy, 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 happy. Okay, so we're going to add a cup of chicken broth to this. Get this started. Okay, there's some of my chicken broth. I got to open up another one because I use it for my rice. My rice, I let it set and it swelled up like I wanted. It's a little sticky, and all I did was cut up some fresh parsley, really fine chop, and I tossed that into my rice, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. In the meantime, I need to get that cup of chicken broth in there. So here we go. Oh, making it happy. So that's just a cup of chicken broth that we added, and we're still waiting on this to come up to a nice simmer and boil. Now for the main course, we are adding some Moscato. We're going to add about a cup of Moscato to that because this is supposed to be Moscato. It's Moscato chicken. And we're going to add a cup of that to make that happy. Oh, look at that. Now we're going to add some more stuff here. Oh, that's what I'm looking at. Oh, this is going to be so delicious. Let's get some black pepper in here, guys. To your taste, to your choice. I mean, you can do fine, you can do coarse, you can do what kind of black pepper you want. You have white pepper, you can also use that too. And I'm going to use a little bit of that white pepper because white pepper is a totally different taste than black pepper. So we're going to add some little crushed white pepper in there. Maybe less than a 1/4 teaspoon. Less than, maybe a pinch or so because you already got black pepper in there. But since I didn't have fine black pepper, this is just, oh, there we go. Okay, now that I add all those great vegetables in my stock, I'm going to add my chickens back because they need to finish cooking all the way through. And then I'm going to add all that juice. Oh, I'm greedy. I want it all. So I need to get my spatula here. Woohoo! Okay, I got my spatula and I'm getting all those drippings. Okay, I got to bring this back up to a good simmer, which I'm going to put the top back on here. And I'm going to let this baby simmer. Okay, while it's cooking, I'm going to add some parsley. This is Italian parsley, so that's going to be wonderful. So I chopped up some more parsley, and I'm going to put that in there. I want color to this. Oh, look at that, guys. This is going to be scrumptious. Okay, so we're just going to let this cook. All right, now this has been cooking for a while. And I'm going to take off the top to this. And I'm going to take these chickens out a little bit more. Oh, it looks so good. It smells delicious, guys. And I want to make sure this chicken was really done, and I think it is. So my next step to it, I'm going to take this out a little bit again. And I've got some half and half cream. And I'm going to add 1/3 cup of half and half. So what I'm going to do is I shake it up really good, and I'm adding a half and half cup of cream. I said a half and half cup. Forgive me. It's half and half cream, and I'm using 1/3 cup, and I'm just going to pour that in there to give it a nice flavor, nice, oh, smooth and silky flavor. Look at that. And that is silky, guys. Now I'm making sure I don't waste any of that cream. That's what you're looking for. See that? And that is a nice, rich color. All right. So we're going to let these vegetables still cook. See what I was telling you about? How thick I wanted my vegetables? Because the thick of the vegetables, it don't smush up. They're actually holding up with all this cooking with this chicken. And that's what I wanted. And look, portobello mushrooms, they always hold up. They're so good. So you're adding that cream because you want that creamy flavor to your food. That's what I'm looking for, guys. Okay, so what I did next, since I got that in there, I got that nice cream cooking. So what I'm doing is I added a tablespoon of cornstarch to a little bit of what was left, my chicken broth, because you still want that flavor. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to thicken this up a little bit. Because if you lose flavor, just put your rest of your vegetables in there. Oh, that's really thickened, guys. Look at that. And if you don't want it that thick, you can just add a little bit more, cornstarch in there if you want. All that flavor. There you go. Because you want like a little gravy, kind of like I do. So we're like gravying this up. So that's what we want. And it to get nice and thick and hearty. Oh, look at that. That's what I like. Because, you got to have something to go on that rice. So there we go. And then what we do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this down because this is on a little high. So we'll turn this down to a medium low. And then we're just going to go ahead and stick these chickens right back in here because we want to make sure we get all that gravy that we made. Well, we made our own gravy. And we want to make sure we get all that back in there. And we want to turn that down and we want to put this sauce, make sure all this sauce is over it with our vegetables. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And finish cooking this on a real low, putting our top on it. Oh, that's going to be good. Making sure those chickens are nice and cooked good. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope you all enjoy this Moscato chicken as much as me and my family do, and my infused rice with rosemary. And I hope you all like it. Hey guys, come back and let's do this all over again with another dish. See you next time. Bye.